Hello everyone! Today we have some Magic the Gathering content. Ooh, I know, right? So nerdy. Hey, I said I wanted to do Magic content, and here it is. We got two or three booster box openings coming to you soon, so be looking out for those. I've just gotten back into Magic the Gathering, and what a time to do so. We've got Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, we've got Strixhaven, we've got Modern Horizons 2, and probably others I don't know about because I need to get off my ass and do some research. That being said, it's an exciting time for anyone involved in Magic right now, and I'm certainly glad to be back. It's been quite some time. I may have fallen off. I don't know what everything does anymore. I don't know how it works anymore, Sonny. I'm going to do my best to break down one of the new precons from AFR called
Dungeons of Death.
So, this deck, wow. I have never been behind this thing, but I sure hate to be in front of it because it does not stop. This deck does everything. There's not a lot that it doesn't do, honestly. There's creature and permanent hate, blue control, card draw, tokens, a little life gain, and with the addition of the dungeon cards, you seemingly have everything in between. You actually get some effect, it seems, that's typical for each of the 5 colors without having all the colors in your deck, meaning mana issues are far less likely than a 4 or 5 colored deck. Those dungeon abilities really add and pack a punch to your gameplay. And while you normally don't want to combine too many different effects, since it's more effective to focus on synergies, it works well in the form of these room abilities because the dungeons are separate and don't require specific steps or resources. So to start it off, our commander for this deck, Sephirus of the Hidden Ways, is one of the only cards in the deck that actually solely focuses on the dungeon mechanic. However, he has a fairly low CMC, and you have plenty of ways to bring him back from the graveyard if you want to go that route and avoid commander tax. The rest of the cards in this deck that do focus on the dungeon mechanic also do other things. Midnight Pathlighter allows you to venture, but also offers some nice control. Immovable Rod has venture and also pacifies a creature. Radiant Solar gives you 2 different venture options, each with their own extra ability. One of which is an ETB, and the other being one of the many ways to activate your commander's ability. Then we have Hama Pashar. It's actually the only other card in the deck that solely focuses the dungeon mechanic, but it's such an overpowered way to do it. For only blue, white, and a 1, this 2/3 human wizard doubles your room triggers in dungeons, which in some cases, such as Fungi Cavern, would turn Dragonlord Atarka into a noodle with wings for a turn. Or you got Deep Mines, which would let you scry 6. Then Mad Wizard's Lair, which would let you draw those 6 cards and play 2 of them for nothing. I really do love the dungeon mechanic in this deck, and quite honestly, I would have liked to see more venture cards, but I do think the commander does a decent job all on its own. This deck is packed full of cards to trigger your commander over and over. We have a few versatile creature hate cards that you can play on yourself or your opponent's battlefield. Cards like Clay Golem, Shriek Maw, Necrotic Sliver, and Plague Crafter, which allow you to either pop an opponent's creature or one of your own to trigger Sephirus. Then there's a whole array of cards that allow you to sacrifice or discard in order to trigger Sephirus as well. Murder of Crows actually triggers it twice if you discard a creature card with it, while cards like Merfolk Looter, Forbidden Alchemy, and Curator of Mysteries give you both draw advantage and let you discard creatures for Sephirus. And there are so many others that allow you to do this, including some lands like High Market and Gaia Reach Sanitarium. All the while, none of this sack and discard will matter because you can bring all your boys back repeatedly. You will be constantly reanimating with cards like Karmic Guide, which revives on an ETB, Grave Endeavor, Reassembling Skeleton, Unburial Rites, which has flashback, Revivify, which could really mess the game up after a good board wipe. I mean, you're getting all your boys back. And my personal favorite, Victimize, which both triggers Sephiroth and returns not one, but 2 creatures at once. And last, but the opposite of least, you have the trio Obsessive Stitcher, Doomed Necromancer, and Sun Titan, which effectively keep each other on the battlefield and consistently return any other creatures that end up in your graveyard. This trio of cards is a game changer. I've noticed when playing against this deck that unless you're running something like ramp or tokens, you are almost always going to be out-creatured. And with so many ETB and sacrifice abilities, you are constantly doing something with this deck, whether it's drawing cards, reanimating creatures, destroying permanents, or even board wiping, all while working your way through dungeons and playing with the game like it's a hacky sack. And hey, they even threw in a propaganda. You can't ever go wrong with that. I really do love this deck. I just don't want to be on the receiving end of it when I'm not using my dragons, because this is one of the strongest precons I've seen in a long time. I mean, this is like Dragon and Edgar Markov level of strong here. It's just one of those precons where you really look at it and it's jaw-dropping. We actually had a Commander Night the other night. I invited one of my old Magic buddies over. He had his brother, and me and my partner were there. We're all playing. My partner's using this deck, and every other turn, everyone's jaws are just dropping. Like, why are you able to do this? It's ridiculous, guys. It really is. I would say go out and get the deck because it's awesome. And, you know, all these decks are worth more than what they sell them for. They MSRP for like 40 bucks, maybe like 50 something after tax. Most of these decks jump up and double that price. So if you're not going to play with it, you can at least invest. Too many of the singles in these decks are hot as hell and people want them. So sell it, play with it, doesn't matter. Get the deck because this deck is awesome. Just, if you see someone pull it out when you're about to play, run away. Unless you've got something that's really popping, don't try to bring a precon out and face this deck. If somebody does bring this out and they're like, oh, it's a precon, you know, go easy on me. Do not go easy on them because they will eat you alive. This deck is crazy. There are some cards that you could throw in to upgrade it, but I'm not going to go through what they are right now because I don't have them off the top of my head. All I'm going to do now is in this video. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe if you liked this video. If you want more Magic content, let me know, because I like doing what you like me to do. Something like that, but not weird and slavey, because, you know, I ain't nobody's bitch. Anyway, y'all have a good one, and peace. Oh, one last thing real quick. I wanted to talk about the card Minimus Containment that they added to this deck. For just 2 and a white, you can turn anything you want into a useless piece of metal that explodes when you spend it. Wow, isn't that exciting? No, it's not. That card is way too strong, Wizards. And you know what? You can go fuck